Well, I think it took a little while, probably about a year for it to start to connect, before the contamination actually set in. And then after that, it took a while to figure out what they're going to do about it. I think there's a lot of denial, a lot of covering up, and things like that. Now, the river water wasn't what was causing all of it. It was the fact that they did not treat it. If they would have properly treated the river water, the problem would have never happened.
Part of Woodside Church, and we are part of a water committee of the church that seeks to work on the issues and serve people as best we can. We are providing, with the water problem, water, filters, and replacement cartridges. We have some hand wipes. Sometimes we're able to provide diapers, even though that's not necessarily part of the problem of the water, but people need it, so we've been passing different types of things out. We've also provided fresh vegetables. We're out of them right now, so today we're not providing any fresh vegetables. But the nutrition issue is a part of the problem, especially for children who have high lead levels. They need to have better nutrition to help reduce the effects of that lead level.
Happy Tales Dog Grooming. It started about 2 years ago, and it hasn't affected my business that much because we're on a well. However, it has affected some of our clients, and we've had to give some specialty baths and take care of rashes and sores that dogs have on them.
It would be helpful for the media to cover more of the issues of what do you do that might reduce the effects that the lead has, and what will you do that would maybe improve you once you may have had lead poisoning. There's been mention of that a lot by the Department of Health and Human Services, and there's efforts made to make a difference. As part of the programs that they'll be dealing with in the schools, but you also need it in your homes.
Honestly, if it keep going, it's gonna be a bad situation for most of the kids growing up in Flint here because of the water situation, because people gotta bathe in it, cook their food, and boiling the water doesn't help, so I give it about 10 years till it gets fixed, give or take, depending on how bad it really is down under.
Well, we will need to have a response from to be able to develop an educational program, particularly for the younger children. And then that'll have to be a part of a project and program that will go on for a number of years, because this will go for more than one generation. Because it gets passed on, especially if a mother was pregnant when she received the lead poisoning, then that child will already have, when it is born, will have that. And that also means that it will be in that child's born, so if they have a child, that could still be passed on further. So therefore, we're going to be watching this for years to come, and that will actually be generations to come. And the actions that people need to take is to make sure that they have good nutrition, that they keep track of their lead levels, and so therefore be tested. Educational opportunities are necessary, so there have been some funding given, and there'll be a lot more of that will be needed to give special attention to any deficiencies that may come in terms of concentration, in terms of attention deficit disorders, and even behavioral. So counseling will be another part that's very important. Other communities that have had this, that's what they've tried to work on and try to get funding for. There are some there's some work on that done by the state to say that they're going to give some funding for it, but mainly what they've done is done it for lower income, and this will really affect all income levels. So we need to do it for everybody.
I probably know firsthand at least a half a dozen people that have been affected. I have employees that have been affected. In fact, today I had a girl that had to leave early today because her daughter, who is 4, is being tested for lead.
Not that I know of a family member or nothing like that, or a friend, but I'm not for sure. I might think my nephew has been affected, but it's not for certain yet. You have drank the water since 2014, and then he been drinking it, so it's like he had little behavioral problems lately.
I do know that if they correct the piping that carries the lead, each home has its own piping that connects to the city. So when they change all these pipes out, who's going to be responsible for the piping that goes from the line from the street to the house? I have heard that that's about a $6,000 deal per house. I don't know if the homeowners are going to be responsible for that, or when they fix the problem, if that's going to also be funded, that each house gets proper hookup to the good water.
None of mine have. I have a friend that had, her dog had kidney problems due to the water. I've had another friend that had some rashes on the dog.
Well, depending on what fire station you go to in the process, you have to show your ID. And knowing that we don't actually live in Flint, we're just 5 minutes away, they still gave it to us because of the surrounding cities around Flint still has Flint water. And then if you go to any other, you just walk in and get the water.